to a new episode of the Flossi podcast. If you've been here before, welcome back. You know what we're all about by now. If you are here for the very first time, welcome. My name is Claire. I'm a maker, I'm a knitter, I'm a designer. I sew things, and then I like to come on and share about them here with you and just chat all about making and wool and all kinds of fun things. I'm often joined by my furry little partner in crime, Tilly. I don't know if we'll see Tilly today, and I'm sorry if that's a disappointment. She got a bone right before I started recording, so she is gone. I think she's outside chewing away on it, so she might make an appearance, but it was a fairly big bone, so who knows, but I'm sure I'll get a little bit of extra footage for the intro and the outro for you to see her. But yeah, hopefully she'll pop by and make an appearance, but if not, don't worry, we have lots of knitting funness to talk about today. And I'm going to start off with what I'm wearing because I have a new FO. My vanilla heirloom sweater, my latest one, is done. It's off the needles, blocked, and onto me, and it got its very first outing yesterday, and I'm so happy with it. I'm calling it my vanilla floof because, as you can see, it's very fluffy and it's exactly what I was envisaging. I am so glad. You hear coffee. Husband's in the basement lurking around, so he's home today, so that's what that was. He might make an appearance too, but who knows, he's very elusive. But back to the sweater. It's my vanilla heirloom, and I made it using Drops alpaca silk, and I'm so happy with it. I did a few modifications as I chatted about before, but I'll go into them briefly. So this is one of my favourite patterns. It's a top-down raglan, just like a really vanilla pattern. The lovely thing about it is it's written for different gauges, so whatever yarn you happen to have in your stash, if you knit a stockinette swatch and then check in the pattern, there's a gauge to match that, and you just follow the directions for that gauge. It's also really easy to modify if you want to make some changes to it. So the changes I did was I did the folded collar because I wanted it to have a slightly more vintage feel about it for this version. As I said, I've knit this sweater. I think this is my third vanilla heirloom, so I think the first one I knitted the sleeves straight, but that was the only modification I did. And for my yellow one, I think I pretty much knit it as written, with the tapered sleeves. This one, I did a couple of things differently because, like I said, I wanted it to have a slight vintage feel to it. So I did a folded collar. I just stitched it down once I got the yoke done. And then I also did some gentle waist shaping just to bring it in slightly, and a deeper ribbed hem. And then on the sleeves, I knit straight for a couple of inches and then did a couple of rounds of increases, and then knit straight and then decreased like right at the end just to pull it in slightly, but also not pull it in too tight. I wanted to keep this, so if I wanted to push them up and have it a little bit more blousy at the top or whatever, just keep it quite relaxed feeling, but also, I don't know, I think it just gives it that nice little bit of a vintage flair, without it being too vintagey, I guess. I really struggle because I love vintage style and vintage fashion, but I think sometimes if I've tried like vintage style dresses on, I end up looking a little bit costumey on me. I always feel a little bit like it's not quite right, so I like trying to introduce small like vintage details, I guess, and make it look a little bit more retro that way. And it just, I think it really worked for me with this sweater, and I'm really excited about it. I love the colour. I love how it turned out. I've got it on with just some high-waisted jeans today, but I tried it over dress yesterday when I went out for lunch with some friends, and that worked too. That's like one of the things I struggle with. I always see people wearing lovely floaty dresses with like a sweater over the top. It just looks so like easy and really pretty, and then I always feel like I try it I just look a little bit like I'm playing dress up, I guess. I don't know. It just never looks completely right on me. So I think it depends on the length of the sweater you do. At least it does for me. Who knows. That's why I was really particular about what length I did this. So if you watched the last podcast, you probably would have seen, I think the hem was about half the length that it is right now, and I had it on some scrap yarn because I wanted to do this section right at the end once the sleeves were in, because sometimes for me, I'll do the length, and then once I get the sleeves in, it does adjust where the hem's landing. So I just wanted to give myself a little bit of flexibility there. So I went in, I tried everything on once the sleeves were in, and then realised it was just sitting maybe a little bit too high for what I wanted to do. So I just added a little bit of extra length with the ribbing and then cast off, and then that was perfect for wearing with dresses and things. So yeah, I could see me wearing this a ton, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, this is I have an FO to show you. Oh, by the way, if I'm assuming everyone who watched this podcast is a knitter, but FO means finished object, just in case anyone's watching is really confused, because bless my sister watched the last episode, who is not a knitter, and she always watches them because she's super nice and she's been supportive, and I got a text message from her going, you have to tell me what FO means, I don't understand. And I told her, and she was just like, I would never have guessed that. And interestingly, it led us on a discussion of knitting acronyms, and I was like, well, WIP means work in progress. She was like, yeah, I kind of got that one. And then I was like, I think I said about frogging the sleeves back as well. I was like, so that means to like unravel it and to rip it back. And she was like, why on earth would you call it frogging? And I was like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. It's just something I've always said, to frog it back. And maybe I'm the only knitter. Maybe you're watching at home and going, well, I know why you call it frogging, but I didn't know at all. So I Googled it, and they call it frogging back because you rip it back, and rip it sounds like a frog. I never knew that. Let me know in the comments below. Is that something that just I didn't know and everyone else has been in on the joke? Because I think it's hilarious, and it's really cool that we call it that because it sounds like ribbit. But I'd love to know, am I the only person who didn't know that, and that's like been a knitting thing forever? Or did anyone else, is this a revelation to anyone else? Because it blew my mind when I found out. So that's always fun. Weird side note in the podcast, but yeah, so FO, finished object, for anyone other than, unless it's just Helen who's watching who doesn't know. But yeah, I love the sweater. I'm so happy with it, and I'm so glad I went on my little stash diving like adventure this year, because that's really where this sweater came from. I had this drops alpaca silk in my stash for, it must have been at least 3 years, I think, maybe even longer. And I was just like, I'm going to use up my stash, and I went through it, and I threw this on my needles on a whim, and honestly, it's very quickly become one of my favourite things that I've ever made. So yeah, stash yarn. Definitely more of that. Oh, sorry, I had to stop to blow my nose. You can tell it's spring because my hay fever's suddenly started kicking in, but that's okay. We are actually going from one FO right into another because I have something that jumped on and off my needles really quickly for me, mainly because I really want to get them done, because I did a new sample for one of my older patterns. So these are the Parky Socks. So this is, I think this is the first sock pattern that I ever designed, and it's been unavailable for quite a long time. The reason for that was I was never completely happy with the original yarn that I used, and I also changed my layout style a couple of years ago, and I took it down because I intended on changing the layout to it as well. And I just never got around to it. It was one of those things, it was always on my to-do list, but I got busy. Working on Flossi isn't my full-time job. I have a day job too, so it's just one of those things that I never really got around to. And which was a shame because I really like this pattern. So now I have more time to work on Flossi, going through all my older patterns and giving them a refresh and knitting new samples if I need to. It's one of the things I'm going to be working on throughout the year. But I wanted Parky to be the first one I did because I think there's so much fun for spring, and sock knitting is such a spring thing too, that I just wanted to get this pattern up and running again, which I'm really happy to say it is as of today. So I launched this podcast on Friday, and today's the day that I'm also putting these up as an available pattern again. I thought it was going to be a really quick job to do it, but once I decided I wanted to reknit the sample, it takes me forever to knit socks as well, and I wanted to make sure I got brand new photographs, do a whole new layout. There's also a lot within that pattern. My pattern writing is definitely, well, I feel like it's improved a lot in terms of the style of it. So I wanted to make sure that the pattern writing style matched my most recent patterns as well. So it was just going through and changing things. So just to clarify, the pattern itself hasn't changed at all from the original one, just more so the layout and the way that I write certain things and certain repeats now that I tweaked slightly. But this had already been tech edited and testing it, and nothing else has changed in the pattern, so everything works and it's all good. And I'm super excited to have it available again. So here are the details of the pattern. The knit toe up. So you start on with you cast on at the toe, increase up, and then knit the foot. And then they've got a traditional increase gusset and heel flap using a short row heel, and then an eye of partridge heel going into a repeat of part of that cable that runs up the back. The cable runs into the ribbing on both the front and the back, like so. And this is it on my sock blockers. And I'm so happy with how they turned out. I had so much fun as well getting some brand new photos of these, and especially because I used the most beautiful yarn. This is the Little Bird Workshop, who I came across. I was looking for non-superwash sock yarn here in Canada, and I stumbled across the Small Bird Workshop, and I completely fell in love with their yarn straight away, and especially this. This is the Barn Swallow sock yarn, and it's 70% Canadian wool and 30% mohair with a really high twist to keep it really nice and strong. And the mohair comes from a neighbouring goat farm, so everything is totally traceable, made here in Canada and spun here in Canada. And just look at the colours. This is the Stardust colourway, and it is gorgeous. The base is like a very cool grey, and it's got all these speckles of different colours, of like pinks and blues and turquoises. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm really happy with it. I'm so happy to have found that yarn company. I'll definitely want to be working with them again. So I just purchased this yarn. This isn't a yarn support situation. I just wanted to purchase it and try it out. But they've been absolutely lovely, and we've spoke about collaborating on a future project together, which I'm so excited to do too. I think they're absolutely wonderful. So expect more from that yarn company in the future, in terms of on this podcast. I'm just really excited to have them back and available in the shop. So because they're back in, I wanted to celebrate a little bit, and I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what I'm thinking of doing moving forward in terms of like new pattern launches and discount codes and things like that, because as I said, I've got a lot more time to work on Flossi at the moment, and I really want to try and make it. I would love if it was something that I could do full time, and to do that, I'm trying to work out to make it financially sustainable too, which is really tricky when it comes to knitwear design. It's kind of the norm to, as soon as you release a new pattern, to automatically put an introductory discount code on that. And it's something that I personally, for me, I struggle with quite a lot, because there's already a very small profit margin when you look at if you're trying to price it competitively in the market, and then also all the work that's gone into actually producing a pattern. It can make those profit margins very, very slim, even if they're there at all, and then to offer discount codes on top can make it really hard. I know it definitely, this is just me talking from my personal experience. I know there's some people, if you're able to create that volume of patterns, it can definitely work for some people, which is absolutely fine. But obviously, as I said, this is my full-time job, and I try to get patterns out as much as I can. And honestly, I've been trying to think about how it's going to work best for how I'm creating patterns and how frequently I can get patterns out, which hopefully is going to be a lot more frequently now. But still, I'm not someone who can churn out multiple patterns a month, is what I'm saying, because I'm just not that fast. So I've been trying to think of what's going to fit in best for Flossi and for running promotions, because I do really like doing like discounts and doing fun little promotions and trying to think up nice things to do and giveaways and stuff like that. So I think rather than offering discounts automatically on new patterns, I won't be doing that. At least I'm going to try out for a little while some slightly different things. What I'm going to probably do is run other discounts and promotions involving my patterns around those launches, or for like a summer celebration, or if we're running a cal, those kind of things, and seeing how that works instead, as opposed to running a discount automatically on the new pattern. So for Parky, for the re-release, there isn't an introductory code for it being back in the shop, but what I am doing is, if you purchase Parky and if you like it, you can also get any of my other sock patterns, my existing ones, for 50% off. So if it's something, if you want to bundle things up a little bit and get a couple of patterns in there, if you like a couple of the sock patterns and you want to do some sock knitting over the summer, then I'm going to be running that promotion for the rest of the week. So until next Friday, if you buy Parky, you can get any of my other sock patterns for 50% off. So that'll be in my Ravelry store and over on my website. So let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm definitely trying to make Flossi a more sustainable business endeavor, I guess is the way to put it. So I'm just trying out some different things. I know discount codes in the knitting community are very it's kind of expected to be doing them, and I'm just trying to find my footing, I guess, with how it's going to work for me. So I would love to hear your thoughts. If it's something that you have a particular point of view on and you want to share that with me, and or how you'd like to see things work, I'd love to hear your feedback on it, honestly, because it's just something that I'm kind of trying out. And yeah, because I really like this to become a very community type feel here on the podcast and the newsletter and everything. So I love, as hopefully Flossi continues to grow, that we kind of, grow that community with it, and a big part of that is hearing what you think. So do let me know what's on your mind and what you think about discount codes and things. And yeah, and I hope you like the re-release of Parky. Do check out the Small Bird Workshop, because I think they're doing some lovely, lovely things. And yay! I'm just glad to have them back and up in the shop. I had so much fun taking photos. A big shout out and thank you to my lovely husband who assisted with that, because I was balanced on a chair for a little while, because I use a remote control app with my camera to take photos a lot of the time, so I was kind of balanced taking the things, trying to nearly slipping off, and he came in just at the right time and kind of took over the camera for a minute. So yeah, a big thank you to him for helping with them, because I think he got some really good shots and I was really excited to sit down and edit them later that night. So thank you, Chris. So as I said, I'll be running a little promotion in the web shop and on Ravelry that whenever you purchase Parky, you can get 50% off any of my other sock patterns. So do head over there and take a look and see what you think. As well as running that promotion, I thought it'd be really fun to do a giveaway here on YouTube. I've been so enjoying building up this little community on here, and I am so grateful to every single one of you that chooses to tune in and actually listen to me ramble on about the things I've been making. So I wanted to do a special YouTube only giveaway, and I happen to have another skein of barn swallow from the Small Bird Workshop. When I purchased the other colourway, I also purchased this one, which is Pinot Gris, and oh, it's so pretty. Let me see if I can get that to... Ooh, it's like... So it's like a very... Almost like when you look at sea glass, you know, you get all those different colours coming in. There's like greys and greens, and then these like little pops of almost like a olive lime green colour going through it. It's really pretty, and I think it would make a very kind of subtle like striping effect, but without it being very stripy. I think it'd be quite tonal, if that's the right word, and it's just beautiful. So as I said, it was specifically made to be a sock yarn, but you could use it for whatever you like. And it's 3-ply fingering weight, 70% wool, 30% mohair, and non-superwash. And it's completely Canadian made. And it's just a beautiful yarn. So I thought it'd be fun to do a giveaway for this skein of yarn here on YouTube. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is to leave a comment below. Maybe tell me that if you won, what sock pattern you would like to knit. It doesn't have to be one of mine. Any sock pattern, because I always love hearing what you're interested in making. And yeah, just leave that comment below, and I will draw a winner and announce it in the next episode. And this is open worldwide, so I'll ship this anywhere you like, and you might get a little handwritten note in there too. Yeah, just to celebrate having Parky back up for sale, and also just to say a big thank you for everyone tuning in and watching, to be able to maybe get your hands on a skein of barn swallow, because it's beautiful and I just really want to share it with you. It's really nice now that I like living here in Canada, just to experience as much Canadian made yarn. I just find it really interesting. I'm very kind of tuned in with English yarns, and because I've been spoilt for choice over there, because obviously I was raised in England, so but it's nice to kind of like experience that living in a different country, and Canada has some really beautiful yarn and yarn companies and dyers, so it's nice to share this with you as much as I can. So yeah, if you want to enter the giveaway, just leave a comment below, and yeah, barn swallow. So yeah, those are my exciting FOs that I wanted to share with you so far today. And I have one more project on my needles that I've been furiously knitting on because I can't seem to put it down. And that is my Merrymaker that I shared the beginnings of in... What did I cast on? I hadn't cast on. I was telling you my knitting plans. And I was just winding up the wool. And look how far I've got already. This is Merrymaker from issue 7 of Making Stories magazine. So, full disclosure, I work for Making Stories magazine. This is my day job. I'm the marketing and social media manager over there. And they very kindly, because they're lovely, gifted me this copy of magazine. But there was no pressure whatsoever to knit anything from it. It's just I genuinely love all the patterns in here. And Merrymaker, which is this beauty by Jill Thompson Beach, it appealed to me straight away. It's just such a fun, jolly pattern, and I knew straight away that it was going to be one of those, because you cast on from the top, and then there's a little bit of short row shaping at the back, and then these colourwork sections that create these nice wavy lines, and then increases happening in the stockinette section, and it just stays like this. It's like a variation on a striped sweater with these gorgeous wavy lines, and it's been so much fun to knit so far. It's really relaxing. You know me, I'm all about the process when it comes to knitting, so anything where I can just sit down and just relax into my latest project, and this has definitely been that. The neckline looks really small holding it up. I tried it on, it fits fine. It does fit. I think it's the way that I keep bunching it up. But yeah, I just separated for the sleeves and the body, and this is what I'm going to be working on tonight. I'm going to be sitting and putting a few more rounds on it, because it's one of those projects where you've got stockinette, so you're just knitting stockinette, and then you have like the colourwork section, but it's only over, I think, is it 6 or 8 rows, so you don't have a lot to do in that, and then you get to the next stockinette, so it just has you going to the next bit and the next bit. So yeah, I was so excited. So I stash dived for this project again and again. Stash diving, it's been so much fun to do this year, because I've had this in my stash for a really long time. This is the BFL Masham blend from what was the Hollyhock Fibre Co. I don't think they trade anymore, and I got this when they were closing down, so it's been in my stash for a really long time. And I got gifted this from the Mariner's Daughter, which is my favourite locally yarn shop, and this is Botanical Fibres Feather Base in Heirloom Red. It's beautiful. It's a brushed alpaca. It's so soft and so cozy, and you get a lot of yardage on there. So what I will say is, you might see, compared to the photos, my waves are not quite as deep as what are in the photo, and that is because I used this, which is a light fingering, and the original yarn is, I think, again, it's a brushed alpaca like this, but I think it's closer to a sport weight. It's quite a bit heavier, but I could have added some more rows in between to like puff out, deepen those stripes, but I was a little bit concerned because I only have one skein of this yarn. I didn't want to run out by the end of it, so my wavy lines are a little skinnier, but I don't mind that at all. I think it looks cute, so I'm so happy with it, and I'm really excited. I have a feeling this is going to continue going very quickly, so I am going to be recording again maybe next week. So let's see where I get up to by next week. I'm kind of excited. I'm not really one of those people who's like, I need to get to the end of it because I want to wear it. I always want to wear the things, but I just enjoy knitting things. So I never put a lot of pressure on myself to finish something by a certain time, unless it's a work thing or I'm doing sample knitting. But there's something about this, kind of like, I want to get to the end, then I can put it on and try it on. So we'll see. Maybe by the time I record again, I'll be through the body at least, I would think. But who knows? Who knows what happens? Maybe something else will pop up and completely distract me, and then when I film again, I'm like, look what I cast on, and I've not done Merrymaker. But hopefully that won't be the case. So yeah, super happy with this. It's really soft yarn, and I think it's just I'm gonna wear the bejesus out of it, I have a feeling. So yeah, that is my Merrymaker. So that was everything that I wanted to share with you today for this episode of the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. As predicted, Atilia's still out somewhere chewing on a bone, but she will be back, I am sure, next time. And yeah, I'll be recording again. I'm trying to keep a schedule of every 2 weeks at the moment, just to pop in and chat to you, because I genuinely really enjoy it. And I love hearing from you in the comments, so please do say hello and enter the giveaway. And yeah, hopefully when I see you next time, I'll have a little bit more on my Merrymaker. And yeah, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you so much again for spending some time with me here. If you like this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. If it was rubbish, give it a big thumbs down. And if you're not already, please do hit subscribe. All those things help the channel, and also just lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and you're enjoying the content. And yeah, have a great rest of the week and a great weekend if you're watching this on Friday as it launches, and I'll see you soon.